Ever feel like overwhelmed by modern life?
Yeah, I know that feeling.
Just constantly bombarded with
Uh-huh.
information and deadlines and expectations?
Like it's too much.
It could be a lot,
For
right?
sure.
Today, we're going to be diving into a unique perspective on dealing with all of that,
Okay.
all that stress and uncertainty. We're drawing wisdom from a source you might not expect,
Mm. What's that?
our ancient ancestors.
Okay.
And our guide for this deep dive is a blog post by John Rasmussen.
Okay.
He's a shamanic practitioner,
Right.
and the blog post is from his website
Right.
called The Soul Algorithm.
The soul algorithm. Interesting. So, what's this whole ancient wisdom thing about? How can that possibly help us with the kind of stress we face today?
Well, it's interesting because Rasmussen's approach, he's not suggesting that we abandon all of the things that are stressing us out.
Right.
He's not saying abandon technology or retreat to a cave or something.
Okay, so what's he saying?
Instead, he's saying that we can tap into what he calls our primal selves.
Oh, I see. Like getting back to our roots.
Exactly. And by doing that, we can actually build up our resilience to face all of these modern challenges that we're talking about.
That actually makes a lot of sense. It's like, even with all our fancy gadgets and technology, we haven't really outrun our evolutionary history, have we? We still have those basic instincts, that primal core deep down.
Exactly.
So how do we tap into that?
Well, he makes this point that even with all of these advancements, we haven't really outrun our evolutionary history.
Right.
We still have this primal core within us.
Mm-hmm.
And, think about it. When you face a crisis, how do you react?
Oh, yeah.
Is there a part of it that feels almost instinctive,
Totally.
like animalistic?
Like fight or flight, right? It kicks in before you even have time to think.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like all of a sudden you're on high alert, your heart's racing, you're ready to either face the danger head on or just run for the hills.
Yeah.
It's definitely primal. So what's Rasmussen's take on that?
Instead of seeing that reaction as a weakness, shamanic traditions view it as a source of strength. It's all about connecting with nature and understanding the natural cycles of life and death
Okay.
and recognizing that power that we have within.
So it's not about suppressing those primal instincts, but about harnessing them.
Exactly.
I like that.
Yeah.
So how do we do that? How do we actually harness those instincts in a way that helps us deal with modern stress?
There's a really great quote in his blog post. He says, "It is easier to be a yogi when all is well, but the practices were really meant for times like these."
It's true. When everything's going smoothly, it's easy to feel calm and collected. But when the pressure's on, that's when those coping mechanisms really get put to the test.
Exactly.
And let's be honest, sometimes they crumble.
Yes.
Like those yoga poses you can hold for minutes in class. Suddenly, in the middle of a crisis, you can barely touch your toes. It's like our minds and bodies just forget everything we've learned.
So what do we do? How do we stay grounded when everything feels like it's falling apart?
Well, I think that's where integrating these ancient tools becomes really crucial. Rasmussen isn't advocating for rejecting modern life, but rather finding a balance. So by all means, use science-backed stress management techniques, therapy, whatever works for you, but also explore mindfulness practices. Things like mindful breathing or spending time in nature. Even something as simple as just taking a mindful walk in the park.
Yeah.
Noticing the sights, sounds, the sensations around you can help you tap into that primal connection.
It's interesting because he connects this idea of primal resilience
Mm-hmm.
to a fascinating observation about nature itself.
Oh, okay. What's that?
He argues that nature actually seeks complexity
Mm.
to keep consciousness from getting bored.
Okay, that's a new one.
What do you think he means by that?
Well, I guess he's saying that nature is constantly evolving, adapting, creating new forms. And we, as humans, as part of that grand system, we're wired for challenge and growth. It's almost like the universe is always upping the ante to keep things interesting, right? To keep us on our toes. Like, think about it. If everything was always easy and predictable, wouldn't life get pretty boring?
Maybe.
Where's the excitement? Where's the learning, the growth?
So instead of seeing challenges as something to be avoided,
Mm-hmm.
what if we view them as opportunities for growth
Yeah, like stepping stone.
and experience?
Exactly. Even if things feel chaotic, there's often an underlying order, a kind of cosmic beauty to it all. And of course, that's not to diminish anyone's struggles, but rather to offer a different perspective. No matter what you're facing, remember, you're part of this grand, complex system.
Absolutely. So what does this all mean, practically speaking?
Yeah, good question.
Rasmussen leaves us with this really powerful thought.
Okay.
He says, "Be driven by our vision, and dream our experiences of the world into being.
Wow, that's deep.
So even amidst the chaos, we have the power to shape our reality.
Absolutely. It all comes back to that primal self, that innate strength and resilience we all possess. By tapping into it, we can navigate challenges with a renewed sense of purpose. We're not just victims of circumstance, we have agency. We can choose how we respond to the world around us.
And how we shape it. So
Exactly.
as you go about your day to day, consider this. What kind of world do you want to experience? And what steps, big or small, can you take to start creating it, even amidst all the chaos? Maybe it's starting a daily mindfulness practice, spending more time in nature, or simply shifting your perspective on challenges. We'll leave you to ponder those questions.
Good food for thought.